Hello and welcome to the Code Sports Trade Update. We are here to give you the 10 big takeouts of the first day of the trade period. Now, we're in the Geelong War Room where on Wednesday week I'll hopefully be doing a deal for Charlie Curnow or maybe for Rowan Marshall. I'm here with Lauren Wood and Josh Barnes. Hey guys, let's go through the 10 big issues of today. So Jacob Ware is a Port Adelaide player. Sam Flanders will get done for pick 7, St Kilda for the pick 7 from St Kilda, and Mel Roses for about pick 50 for Sydney. Take us through the Zack Butters news today, though, Barnesy.
Well, there's one player that everybody wanted to ask about and everybody had to answer about was Zack Butters. I think pretty much every club said, yeah, we would be interested if they were interested, and Port Adelaide said, we are not interested. So I think you can take him off the board this year. Port Adelaide is just not going to let him go. He's a free agent next year, so clubs are going to be asking the question this week, next week, and for the next 52 weeks after that. But at the moment, Port Adelaide is not budging, and I think he'll stay at Port going forward.
No doubt. The clubs haven't been asking his management, but his management's been very strong that he is staying for at least one more year. As Jessica Cripps, the club's list boss, said, yeah, he's loyal, but he's also a winner. I think that the winner part is going to be a real challenge for them keeping him, especially if they have a struggle of a year. Zach Merrett saw Essendon and Hawthorn's list bosses speaking, Lauren.
Well, they were very, very strong. Similar vein to Port Adelaide that, under those circumstances, will Zap be traded. There's obviously still a lot of water to go under the bridge. Today can mean a lot of posturing in this regard. It's a lot of sort of Travis Cloak style smoke and shadows behind the windows as they all come in and all march out. So feel them actually meeting in the corridor as we speak. So there's still a lot of turkey to be talked, I suppose is the way to put it. But Hawthorn were keeping their cards very, very close to their chest, weren't they? Their list boss was very, very tight on the details. Obviously, they know that they met with him, but as far as they're concerned, until that trade request comes from Zack Merrett, they're essentially not doing anything about it. I don't think we read anything into that, Ralphie. It's just say even with Zack Butters saying that he's not going anywhere, It is still day one. I think there's still a lot of water going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of bull dust spoken. That Rose of the Essendon list boss was really strong. So, if he asks for a trade, we don't care. We're not even listening to a Hawthorn trade request. Of course, in any scenario there is a situation where Hawthorn puts an extraordinary deal on the table. But I reckon Essendon's pretty resolute right now. And as Mark McKenzie, the Hawthorn list boss, said, look, if we miss out on him, we haven't got a plan B. We're happy to go with the kids. So I think that there's absolutely a world where Zack Merrett is at Essendon Football Club, of course not as the captain next year. Now, Jamarra Ugle-Hagan. What's the latest developments there, Barnesy?
Yeah, I think it seems to be Gold Coast or bust at the moment. That might weigh into the Connor Butterick deal as that goes forward, with him likely to go from the Suns to the Dogs. I think that will be discussed as it moves forward. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of communication between the Dogs and the Ugle-Hagan camp at the moment. It doesn't seem they were aware that he was playing football in a representative game on the weekend.
Should they have been told by Jamarra at such a perilous stage? He should have even been playing football when, let's face it, his AFL career is up for grabs.
Well, imagine if you've done it.
Yeah. Collingwood knew Bobby Hill was going to be playing. I just don't think there's a lot of communication between those camps at the moment, Lauren.
Well, Craig Cameron from the Gold Coast Suns, of course, he said that they are doing their time-honoured due diligence. How many times did we hear?
Big day for due diligence.
Big day for the due diligence. It's a bit like revellers on New Year's Eve. It's sort of gets wheeled out at this time of year. But obviously there's behavioural, there's physical, there's medical. He's still under the AFL's management, effectively under that management plan, isn't he? So there's still a lot of boxes to tick on that. But you got the sense, particularly from Western Bulldogs list boss Sam Power, that, geez, there's not a lot of talking going on, is there? That, as he put it, they weren't aware that he was meeting with the Gold Coast Sun. They were aware, but Jamarra makes his own decisions, is the way that they put it. So it's all still a lot to play out there.
My favourite storyline of the year that he might potentially live with his coach and Damien Humphrey for the first couple of months was shut down, which was shattering.
Sadly.
So Bailey Humphrey has been meeting plenty of clubs, Lauren. He will not be going anywhere, though, according to Craig Cameron.
Geez, he was strong, wasn't he? We talk about that every club, it is a lot of posturing at this time of year and that they do like to hold on to their contracted players, but he was as adamant as I've ever seen a loose boss. He was asked about 12 different ways and they scummed the cat every single way that they could, never managed to get there. He basically got to the point where he said, I am going to answer this once and for all. He is not going. So we've seen him pounding the pavement, of course, with Melbourne coach Stephen King and midfield coach Nathan Jones. So he's certainly looking happy-ish to be out and about. We know he's going with Hawthorn as well. But, geez, they were very, very strong, weren't they, Gold Coast, for a team that's looking to bring a few in as well.
Yeah, I think the Suns' view is that his manager was happy to accept a 4% commission for a long-term deal, and now he's potentially bringing him to Melbourne club. So you sign that contract, you're absolutely obliged to keep it unless we decide to trade him on your team. I think they feel like he's their modern-day Christian Petracca. He's got that potential about him. You know how much Damien Hardwick loves him as well. So pick 7 for Sam Flanders, which will absolutely help with Christian Petracca. Probably, Barnesy, you think that you need more than pick 7 if you're a Melbourne Football Club. Tim Lamb, the club's list boss, was absolutely open about the requirement to trade him if it helps Melbourne's list management in the next couple of years.
Yeah, pretty clearly they were adamant that they are still thinking about playing finals this year. They think their midfield can compete even if you take out Clayton Oliver and Christian Petracca. They're going to drive some kind of hard bargain on Petracca, probably not with Clayton Oliver. I think they'll be happy to help him out the door. It's interesting where that sits. What do you reckon, Ralphie? What is a Christian Petracca worth? Tim Lamb wouldn't tell us. What do you trade for him?
I think it's pick 7 and a future first, and that future first probably goes, somewhere about 15 or 18 next year. You can say if you're Melbourne, we've got 2 first-round picks. We didn't have to give anything back. He's still a superstar of the game, and so if you are Gold Coast, I think you go into next year as almost a premiership favourite. If you get Jamarra on track, if you can get Christian Petracca in those 3 first-round draft picks as academy players, so I think you're almost thinking, yeah, we'll bring some academy players in next year. But right now we're in the window. We've kept the likes of Ethan Reid and Jed Walter and, of course, Ben King. It's like you're not doing anything to get him across the line, but I think you're almost prepared to give up over.
Yeah, the negotiations have to round around his contract as well. Melbourne doesn't want to pay any of that contract for him to play elsewhere. It's a completely different story with Clayton Oliver, but if you're not paying any contract, that means the draft return is probably worse, isn't it? So yeah, that's what they're going to have to be discussing, I think, for the next week.
Too busy paying someone else's.
No, it's a good point. $700,000. So on Charlie Curnow, we're potentially paying overs. So Geelong's happy to have him, but it's going to be a challenge. Chris Keane, the Sydney list boss, he used the words pragmatic. We've got to be pragmatic, which to me meant we've got to pay overs if we want Charlie Curnow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They seem a little bit further down the path on this. Obviously, he has met with Dean Cox. They've had quite a bit of dialogue with Charlie and obviously his management. So they're sort of saying that he's yet to make a decision, but it was an interesting concession from Andrew Mackie from the Cats of how difficult it is, obviously, to get both Rowan Marshall and Charlie Curnow done if it does come to that. So he's yet to make it clear. Charlie, he's contracted till 2029, so there's obviously a little bit to deal with there. It's going to be very, very tough for the Cats. It was an interesting, as I say, admission from him here on the very first day that it's going to be tough for them to get it done. But Sydney, I think they've got to be real about it. As you say, they're going to have to pony up.
Yeah, and if it is that it's their first-round pick this year and their first-round pick next year and a Will Hayward type, you almost think, yes, of course it's overs, but it is a generational player in Charlie Curnow.
And there was just enough wiggle room, I thought, from Chris Davies, where he said, we haven't got any offers yet. We haven't had anything yet. If there are calls that are coming to Nick Austin, our list boss, he has to answer the calls. We don't know what they're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So
on your Bulldust radar, was Charlie Curnow untradeable when you listened to Chris Davies?
No, it wasn't as categoric as some others. It wasn't a Bailey Humphrey or a Zack Butters. He's not moving.
Or
it was
a Merrett for me. I thought, I couldn't agree with you more that if you come out of that, you think as a Carlton fan, you go, yeah, we'll trade him for the right price.
Yeah, it seems we will take the call, we'll discuss it, and we'll probably say no, but there is potential we could say yes.
When Nick Austin spoke over the weekend about refreshing the list, I think that narrative's really starting to seep in a Carlton, isn't it?
So we'll leave it to the St Kilda fan in the room here to discuss Bratton Allen, the old greybeard who came in and just kicked ass and took names, and actually did take names of some journos as well. How would you describe a wild and woolly press appearance from Great Owl?
Quirky is the diplomatic word. Very antagonistic, as I say today. Is typically a lot about posturing, but Graham Allen took it upon himself. He saw an opening in the media skibble. He said, I'm going for it. His media managers were in the box next to us, unaware that he was doing that. And it was on from there, wasn't it? He was, very sort of pensive on some questions and didn't really give you much on a few of yours, Ralphie. And it took on Braden Ingram from Adelaide and gave him the old, sorry, who are you lyric from at the end? So wandered through shortly after, eating a bar me, so clearly very relaxed about what's going on there. But he was emphatic, wasn't he, about Jack Silvani, that Stephen had played no part in those negotiations. He said he didn't even tell Sauce that he was beginning talks around Jack Silvani, and then Ross came in and sealed the deal. But he was adamant, which was, I think, was really interesting, particularly on the pay front. John, you put it to him about just how they're going to do this, because they've obviously got so many big fish coming in, and his typical relaxed way said, and we're ready to go fishing again next year, which I think was quite incredible for St Kilda fans to hear, particularly those that worry about bringing those big fish in. What's it going to mean for guys that are on lower contracts? You've got to let them feel the love as well. But he is adamant that they are in this year. They are going to be in it again next year. And the key player, of course, in all of this has been Isaiah Wanganeen-Miller. He didn't shy away from the fact that was the signature that he hopes he's going to leave to plenty more.
No doubt. He said, we'll do the right thing by both Rowan Marshall and St Kilda. We'll do the right thing by the St Kilda Football Club, which, of course, he's us trading if we can get the right deal there. So this Geelong box where all things will be happening in 9 days' time.
Don't see any Barnesy in here, unfortunately.
No. I still think Charlie Curnow goes to Sydney and Rowan Marshall goes to Geelong, and they might just be a premiership contender again. Of course, they will be. So thanks for your time there. We'll check in across Coast Sports over the next 9 days.